Human, give me one reason not to end this war today.
Because peace wins more worlds than fear ever will.
Then prove your words are stronger than your weapons.
Imagine this. You're alone. Completely surrounded. Not by your own kind, but by creatures that could crush you with one hand. They brought you here for one reason. To test you. To break you. But what happened next changed everything forever. This is the story of a human soldier who faced impossible odds against the deadliest alien squad in the entire galaxy. Nobody thought he would survive the first hour. But he didn't just survive. He earned their respect. He made them fear him. He proved something they never believed possible. 3 shocking revelations are about to blow your mind. First, how a single human outsmarted an entire alien civilization. Second, the hidden reason why aliens actually need humans more than we know. And third, the secret that made these powerful creatures bow to someone they once saw as nothing but prey. This isn't just another Sci-Fi story. This is what happens when courage meets the unknown. Let me show you exactly how this happened. The transport ship descended through thick clouds of crimson dust. Inside the metal prison, a human sat in complete silence. His name was Commander James. He was not a prisoner of war. He was something much worse. He was a test subject. The aliens had come to Earth 5 years ago. Not to destroy. Not to conquer. They came to study. They wanted to understand what made humans different. Why did humans fight when logic said surrender was safer? Why did humans hope when darkness surrounded them completely? Commander James had volunteered for this mission. His government didn't send him. He chose to go. He knew the risks. He knew most volunteers never came back. But he also knew something nobody else understood. Humans had value that no other species possessed. The ship landed hard. Dust exploded around the metal hull. James felt the impact in his chest. This was really happening. There was no going back now. The doors opened slowly. Light flooded in like a wave. James squinted against the brightness. His eyes adjusted. Then he saw them. 3 alien warriors stood perfectly still. Each one towered above him. The first one had scales that shimmered like liquid silver. Golden armor covered its massive body. Spikes ran down its spine. Its eyes glowed red like burning coals. The second creature was even larger. Its skin was dark blue, almost black. Organic armor grew from its flesh. It looked like rock and metal had merged together. This thing had survived wars. You could see it in every scar. The third alien was different. Sleeker, faster looking. Its armor was midnight black with sharp edges. This one moved with precision. With purpose. This one was the leader. The commander stepped forward. No fear showed on his face. Inside, his heart raced, but his voice was steady. "I'm ready," he said simply. The aliens didn't respond. They simply watched. They studied him like scientists study an insect under glass. The lead alien spoke. Its voice sounded like grinding metal mixed with thunder. The words came in English. Broken, but clear. "Human, you will face combat trials. You will face our best warriors. You will likely die. This is your final chance to leave." James smiled. Actual smiled. "I didn't come here to leave. I came here to show you what humans can do." The red-eyed alien made a sound. Later, James would learn this was laughter. "Confidence. Interesting. We will see if your body matches your words. Human." They led him deeper into the facility. Walls of polished stone surrounded them. The air felt thick. Heavy. Like pressure building before a storm. They reached a massive arena. Sand covered the ground. Weapons lay scattered everywhere. "Tomorrow, trials begin," the leader said. "Tonight, You rest. You will need your strength. Many humans have fought here. None have lasted long. James looked around. He noticed dark stains in the sand. Blood. Alien blood mixed with human blood. This place was a tomb. A graveyard of failed volunteers. But James wasn't like other humans they'd tested. He didn't just have muscle. He had strategy. He had experience. He had something deeper than physical strength. He had will. That night, in his cell, James didn't sleep. He analyzed everything. He watched how the guards moved. He studied the arena layout. He thought about what aliens valued, what they respected. Strength meant nothing if you lacked wisdom. Speed meant nothing without tactics. Power meant nothing without control. By dawn, James had a plan. The aliens arrived at sunrise. The lead warrior stood at the arena edge. First trial, it announced. Combat against our warrior. One-on-one. No weapons. Show us your strength. The red-eyed alien stepped into the arena. It was massive. Its muscles rippled under silver scales. It looked unstoppable. James stepped forward too. He was smaller, weaker. By every physical measure, this was impossible. The alien charged. What happened next changed everything. The alien warrior moved like an avalanche. Pure power, pure speed, no hesitation. It expected James to run. Most humans did. Most humans died that way. James didn't run. Instead, he moved sideways. The alien's massive fist crashed into empty space. Momentum carried it forward. James grabbed the creature's arm. He used its own speed against it. He redirected the force. The alien stumbled. Just slightly. But that was enough. The lead warrior watching from the arena edge made that grinding sound again. Interest. Perhaps surprise. The red-eyed alien recovered instantly. It understood now. This human wasn't ordinary. It adjusted tactics. It became more calculated, more methodical. They clashed 5 times. Each time, James used leverage instead of strength. He used angles instead of power. He fought smarter, not harder. The alien began to slow down. Not from exhaustion, from confusion. It wasn't used to opponents who fought this way. Other species relied on physical superiority. Humans couldn't match alien strength. So humans had learned to think differently. The alien made a mistake. Just small. A fraction of a second. But James saw it. He moved inside the creature's guard. He targeted pressure points. He didn't have the strength to overpower this being. But he had precision. He had knowledge of anatomy. The alien dropped to one knee. The arena went silent. The lead warrior stood perfectly still. The dark blue alien made no sound. The black-armored one tilted its head. Studying. James stepped back. He wasn't here to kill. He was here to prove something. The red-eyed alien rose slowly. It looked at James with something new in its eyes. Not anger. Respect. Second trial, the leader announced. Strategy. Puzzle solving. Survival. They led James to a chamber filled with complex machinery. Spinning mechanisms. Moving parts. Walls that shifted constantly. Navigate to the center, the leader explained. The maze changes every 30 seconds. Most humans become lost. Most die. We will observe. James entered the maze. For the first 30 seconds, he simply watched. He didn't move. He studied the patterns, the way walls shifted, the sequence. Everything had logic. Everything had rules. Most humans panicked. They ran randomly. They hoped for luck. James thought. He moved only when patterns aligned. He predicted where walls would be. He anticipated changes. He moved like he was reading sheet music for a dance he'd practiced 1,000 times. In 15 minutes, he reached the center. The aliens were silent when he emerged. "Third trial," the leader said, but its voice was different now. Curious, almost uncertain. Combat against two warriors simultaneously. This was different. This was dangerous. Even James felt doubt now. The two largest aliens entered the arena. The red-eyed one and the dark blue one. They moved together like they'd trained for centuries. Because they probably had. James realized something important then. These weren't just warriors. They were partners. They fought as one unit. They thought together. They moved together. He couldn't beat them by fighting each separately. He had to break their coordination. When they attacked, James didn't retreat. He attacked back. But not at either of them. He attacked the space between them. He forced them to choose. Defend each other or defend themselves. For the first time, they hesitated. That hesitation cost them. James moved faster. Harder. He used every technique he'd learned. Every tactical knowledge. Every bit of human training. One alien fell first. Then the second. They weren't unconscious. They were defeated. They knew the difference. The arena fell completely silent. The lead warrior, the black-armored one, walked into the arena. It approached James slowly. Its movements were deliberate, measured. James thought this was the end. This was when they would finally kill him. Instead, the alien extended its arm. In that gesture was recognition, not of physical dominance, but of something deeper. Respect, equality, brotherhood. James extended his arm. They grasped each other's arms. The other aliens made that grinding sound. But this time, it wasn't laughter. It was acknowledgement. It was welcome. "You are not human," the leader said finally. "You are warriors. You think like us. You understand honor. You understand the meaning of strength. You are one of us now." Days passed. James trained with the aliens. But now they trained together. Not as captor and captive. As equals. As brothers. The lead warrior's name was Korthax. It had fought in wars across 17 star systems. It had conquered civilizations. But it had never met a human like James. One evening, Korthax told James something important. "We came to Earth to find answers," Korthax explained. "Our species has conquered everything. We are the strongest, the fastest, the most intelligent. But we are not happy. Our civilization is dying from the inside." James listened carefully. "We discovered something," Korthax continued. "Species that survive, truly survive, they have something we lost centuries ago. They have purpose. They have hope. They have the ability to stand against impossible odds and refuse to break." "You're talking about will," James said. "Determination. Fighting even when winning seems impossible." Korthax made the grinding sound. "Agreement. Your species is young, weak by physical standards, but your will is stronger than anything we possess. We sent volunteers here to study this quality, to understand how humans develop this power." "And what did you learn?" James asked. "That we can never create it," Korthax said sadly. "We are born with everything we need. We have never had to struggle. We have never faced true adversity. Your species was forged in struggle. Every human carries thousands of years of survival. That is why you are dangerous. Not because of weapons. Because of will." James felt something shift in him. This wasn't about testing. This was about survival. About the future. You said your civilization is dying, James said. What do you mean? Corthax was silent for a long time. Our worlds are peaceful. Our enemies are defeated. We have everything, but nothing matters. Our young no longer want to be warriors. They no longer want to explore. They are comfortable. Comfortable kills civilization slowly. You need what humans have, James said. Understanding finally. We need to remember how to be more than our power, Corthax agreed. We need to remember how to strive. How to overcome. How to hope against hopelessness. The other warriors gathered around. The red-eyed one spoke. We want to propose something. Something that has never been attempted. An alliance. Not between species as rulers and subjects, but as equals. A partnership that teaches us to remember and teaches you to survive. James realized the magnitude of what they were offering. You want humans to come here, to train your people, to teach them how to have will again. Yes, Corthax said, but more than that, we want to share knowledge. We want to help humanity advance, but only if you teach us how to dream again. James nodded slowly. This changes everything, he said. This changes history. Yes, Corthax agreed. That is why we tested you. We needed to know if a human could understand us. If a human could bridge two worlds. You have proven you can. Over the next weeks, James prepared reports. Messages for Earth. He explained everything. The test. The revelation. The offer. He knew his government might not believe him. They might think he'd been brainwashed. But he also knew that humans had always been explorers. Always been willing to take risks for something greater. By the end of the month, Earth responded. Officially, diplomatically, a summit was arranged. Not a military confrontation. A meeting between equals. Corthax stood beside James as they watched the human transport ships arrive. This is how civilization truly advances, Corthax said. Not through conquest. Through connection. Through learning from each other. James smiled. We just needed someone crazy enough to reach across the stars and make friends with monsters, James said. You are the monster now too, Corthax replied. Welcome to our family. The first diplomatic summit lasted 3 weeks. Humans and aliens sat together. They shared knowledge. They shared history. They shared dreams. The alien technology was centuries ahead of human understanding. But humans had something equally valuable. Humans had stories. Humans had art. Humans had the ability to imagine futures that hadn't existed yet. One human scientist named Dr. Sarah Chen became fascinated with alien biology. She spent hours with the red-eyed warrior, whose name was Vorthak. She helped him understand human psychology. He taught her about consciousness across multiple species. A human engineer named Marcus worked with the dark blue alien called Sharthok. Together, they designed new technologies. Hybrid systems that combined human ingenuity with alien power. But not everyone on both sides was happy. Some alien factions saw the alliance as weakness. They believed their species should remain pure, unchanged, separate. Some human governments saw the alien knowledge as a threat. They feared becoming dependent, losing their independence. Commander James became a bridge between these doubts. He spoke to both species. He explained why cooperation mattered more than suspicion. Fear is natural, he told the human delegates. But fear based on difference is just ignorance. We have the chance to advance beyond our limitations together. To the aliens, he said similar words. Comfort is safe, but safety without growth is just slow death. We offer you the chance to remember what made you great. The will to overcome. Slowly, things changed. Within a year, human scientists were working on alien worlds. Alien engineers were helping rebuild human cities. Cultural exchanges happened. Music from Earth played in alien concert halls. Alien art appeared in human museums. James was promoted, not by humans or aliens, but by both. He was declared an official ambassador, the first of his kind. Korthax walked beside him during the ceremony. "Do you ever regret coming here?" Korthax asked. James thought about his answer carefully. "No," he said finally. "But I was terrified. I thought I would die the first day." "You very nearly did," Korthax said. "Many times. But each time, you chose to fight. Not with anger. Not with hatred. With intelligence. With will. That is why you survived." James nodded. "I learned something out there too," he said. "I learned that strength isn't about how hard you hit. It's about never surrendering. It's about finding solutions when everything seems impossible." "That is the lesson you taught us," Korthax said. 5 years passed. The alliance grew stronger. Humans and aliens created hybrid communities on distant planets. They solved problems together that neither species could solve alone. Human disease was cured using alien medicine. Alien depression and apathy was treated using human philosophy and art. The young aliens that Korthax had worried about found new purpose. They trained with human soldiers. They learned human history. They discovered that struggle and overcome could be beautiful things. Young humans discovered that technology and knowledge could accelerate growth. They learned from beings who had already solved problems that would have taken humanity centuries to overcome. But the most important change was subtle. Invisible. It was in how the two species looked at each other. No longer as alien. As different. As potential enemies. They looked at each other as family. As partners. As brothers and sisters who simply evolved on different worlds. James stood on an observation deck overlooking a hybrid city. Humans and aliens walked together through streets. Children played together. Scientists worked in laboratories side by side. Korthax stood beside him. "They threw you to us expecting you would break," Korthax said. Instead, James replied, "I broke down the walls between us." "Yes," Korthax said. "And in doing so, you saved us both." 10 years after that first test, James made a discovery that changed everything again. He was reviewing old files, data from the early years, information about why the aliens had really come to Earth, why they had really started the testing program. What he found shocked him. The aliens hadn't come to Earth randomly. They hadn't chosen humans because of curiosity. They had come because they were dying. Literally. Their DNA was degrading. Their ability to reproduce was failing. Korthax had told James that their civilization was dying from lack of purpose. That was true, but there was more. Their genetics required challenge, required struggle, required adversity to function properly. Thousands of years of peace had caused physical degeneration. They needed humans not just philosophically. They needed humans biologically. James confronted Korthax about this. "Why didn't you tell me?" James asked. Korthax was silent for a long moment. "Because you would have seen yourself as a tool," Korthax finally said. "We needed you to come freely. To teach us freely. Not out of obligation, but out of choice." "So you lied," James said. "We didn't lie," Korthax said carefully. "We simply didn't tell you the entire truth. Just like you didn't tell your government everything about us." James realized Korthax was right. He hadn't shared everything. Military applications. Strategic advantages. He had held things back. The difference, Korthax continued, is that we have found solutions. Human genetics combine beautifully with our own. Our children will carry traits from both species. They will have our strength and your determination, our longevity and your adaptability. James sat down slowly. You're talking about creating hybrid children, merging our species. Not merging, Korthax said gently. Evolution. Natural evolution accelerated through choice rather than chance. Your species and mine will create something new. Something neither of us could create alone. James thought about this. Does Earth know? He asked. No, Korthax said. That is why I'm telling you first. Because if anyone can bridge this gap, if anyone can help both our species accept this future, it is you. James left the conversation confused. Overwhelmed. He needed time to think. But as days passed, the more sense it made. Humans had always evolved, always merged with other populations, always created new cultures, new identities. The only difference was the timeline. What might have taken thousands of years could happen in one. James brought the information to Earth officially. The response was mixed. Some saw it as invasion. Some saw it as opportunity. But slowly, the scientific community won the argument. Universities began studying hybrid genetics. Hospitals prepared for hybrid pregnancies. A new future was being born. 10 years later, the first generation of hybrid children were born. They were beautiful, strong, intelligent. They thought differently than pure humans or pure aliens. They saw problems from entirely new angles. By 50 years after that first test, hybrid communities flourished across the galaxy. James, now elderly, sat with Korthax, who showed no signs of aging. Did you know this would happen? James asked. When you threw me to your warriors. I knew it was possible, Korthax said. But I didn't know it would work. Possibility and certainty are different things. You made certainty from possibility. That is what makes you special. James smiled. I just did what humans always do, he said. I refused to quit. Exactly, Korthax said. And that refusal changed the future of 2 entire species. James looked up at the sky. Toward Earth. Toward home. I came here thinking I was testing myself against aliens, James said softly. And instead, Korthax asked. Instead, I found my true family. I found my real purpose. I found that the greatest strength isn't about winning battles. It's about building bridges. But here's the twist nobody expected. The aliens that tested James didn't just gain physical benefits from the alliance. They gained something deeper. They learned that survival isn't about winning. It's about adapting. It's about accepting change. The hybrid children born from this union became leaders of a new galactic civilization. One based not on conquest, on cooperation. And James, he became legendary, not as a warrior, as the man who proved that understanding could cross any distance, that compassion could bridge any gap. His final words, recorded before his death at age 103, captured everything. We are all searching for the same things. Purpose, belonging, respect. These aren't human needs or alien needs. These are universal needs. When you forget that, you create enemies. When you remember that, you create family. This story started with fear. It ended with hope. It proves that the greatest battles aren't physical. They're internal. The battle to overcome our prejudices, to accept what's different, to build something better together. So here's what we learned today. First, strength without wisdom leads to defeat. Second, understanding matters more than power. Third, the future belongs to those willing to cooperate rather than compete. This incredible HFY story shows us that humans have value beyond physical ability. We have imagination. We have determination. We have the ability to connect across impossible divides. If this story opened your eyes to something new, please hit that subscribe button. Every subscription tells YouTube that you want more content like this. More stories about human potential. More narratives that inspire. Drop a like and let me know in the comments. What would you do if you were thrown into James's situation? How would you survive? But here's something even more important. If you really loved this story, if it made you think about humanity differently, join our community. We are building something special. A place where people who love HFY stories gather to discuss what it means to be human. Check out our newsletter in the description. Every week, we share new stories, new perspectives, new ways of thinking about our species and our future. Watch our next video, where we explore an even more shocking HFY revelation. Something that will make you question everything you thought you knew about human potential. And remember this. The greatest strength isn't muscles or intelligence. It's the refusal to give up. It's the will to keep trying. It's the courage to reach across the stars and make friends with monsters. Because in the end, monsters are just creatures nobody took the time to understand. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing in humanity. I'll see you in the next story.